So crypto has been quite volatile lately, so I'm going to take a look at a few charts with the MDX algo indicators on several different time frames. And like I said, I can go into my settings and that kind of thing, take a look at some of the more recent updates with that. Just loving these, all the last recent updates, by the way, which I'm pretty vocal about in all my videos here. But yeah, this is all going to be freestyle. I haven't actually looked at the charts too much today. I did notice not too long ago that the 1 hour trend confluence has actually flipped bullish recently. That is a good sign in my opinion. I really like this trend confluence. It's probably my favorite thing about these indicators. We did have this flip earlier as well. I think it was yesterday, and obviously not too much came from it, but you could have taken lots of snipes. I love playing snipes off of this 1 hour trend. It's just such a powerful tool. I really like it. But yeah, so the fact that this did flip bullish here, pretty good. We're seeing a strong long signal here. On the Algo 5 or the Oscillator 5 rather, we have a hidden bullish divergence with a little bit of oversold here. We got the big green dot. Oscillator 4 is actually doing basically the opposite. We did have a hidden bearish divergence, but you can see that we just pumped to the upside a little bit anyways. And this is very micro analyzing, guys. This is just a 5-minute chart, just looking at the very here and now, just for this chart here. Really zooming out here, taking a look at the weekly. You can see that I was calling this green line as potential support. And again, this is the weekly chart. I was saying that the fact that even though, yes, this is just a wick here, the fact that it's a weekly lines up with his candle bodies, I did think this could be a level of significance. And the fact that we just got this little failed break of that level and our candle bodies actually closed right on top of that. I mean, we just formed a perfect little W there and just blasted right off. So that was an exciting week there. Bitcoin hasn't seen that kind of bullish move in quite some time. One thing to be cautious of right now is obviously we pumped right up to resistance and we got stopped very quickly at that level. Just kind of looking at the indicators. Well, first of all, look at the RSI here. I was pointing out this downward sloping trend line break and how I actually do think that we are bullish for the long term for a little bit here. Not to say we won't have pullbacks, and they might be vicious pullbacks because Bitcoin is volatile. It is a volatile asset. So we do obviously have a lot of resistance moving up ahead. But yeah, just going to pull up the Algo 3, see if there's anything here. I do usually not have all too many signals on or too many features active at a time because I like to keep my charts nice and clean, but I will add some here little by little. You can see another thing. I really like these orange W's. This is a reversal warning. And just to see it lining up with that trend line that I've been pointing out for a long time, I just love to see the confluence of the indicator like that, just agreeing that, hey, this is potentially a pivot point in the market. So I was really happy to see that. If I go over to the daily, unfortunately, we kind of see the opposite right now. We traded right up to my red resistance line here, horizontal resistance from this level back here, and we're getting trend exhaustion and reversal warning at this level. So yeah, you know, absolutely it would make sense that we could see a little bit of a pullback. But this would be the 21 EMA on the weekly chart here. It does have support all the way down at about 18.5, 18.4K. If I'm on the daily here, let's actually start adding a few things to the Algo 3 here. Like I said, I like to keep my charts super clean so I don't keep too many things on. So you'll notice I don't have even the long and short signals and stuff like that, but I can definitely add them. But I'm going to just add things slowly here. I will add tops and bottoms. That's the little blue triangles. And you get those kind of based off how the next candle reacts, basically. Just calling for potential market tops and bottoms, nice reversal points. Take profits, that'll also be orange dots with a TP beside them. Well, you can see that's what we're getting right up here at these levels that we're at on the daily. So obviously, hey, we got a beautiful pump here. We're hitting resistance. The indicator is telling us to take some profits there. So just a couple warning shots fired, guys. Just proceed with caution. I am leaning bullish personally. But that doesn't mean pullbacks won't happen. I'm just not really interested in shorting this market at this time. And I know you guys hear me say that a lot, but you know what? I generally play the long side better. It just fits my trade style more. So I'm okay to sit out and wait and miss shorts if I can catch those longs. So I'm more interested personally in kind of catching, I guess, yeah, after a pullback, getting into long positions. But I know many people are much better at shorting than longs. So, I mean, some people would be probably, I bet there's a lot of people that all of us know that are shorting the hell out of this and may end up playing it well there. So just wanted to basically show you that there are some warning signs here on the daily. Market flow. This will be this very faint kind of gray line you can see. That's just kind of the general flow of the market. Right now it's obviously swinging to the upside here. So that's also beautiful to see. And signals. I mean, this is a weekly. They do take a long time to flip. Generally speaking, obviously you'd have the shorter time frames flipping first, which would turn into the mid time frames flipping, and eventually you see the basically the long term starting to flip. Right now, 4 hours saying short, but it's bullish. 1 day is long and bullish, and the weekly has actually flipped to bullish. Still short. You can see we have these short signals, but I'm on the daily still here. The weekly, yes, does not. Oh, that's interesting. The 4 hour switched when I switched charts, and so did the daily. I'm not sure if that's a bug or what happened there. But yeah, we don't have a long signal yet. Still short, but you know, we did break this EMA, so that may end up flipping fairly soon. I wouldn't be too surprised to see a long signal come in, but since it's a weekly, that could take really weeks or even months for that to kind of come into fruition. Market flow still going down, but it looks like it's kind of curling up to the upside here. Stotch RSI divergences. This will be the big blue dots. You can see that generally those have also been a fairly good indicator as far as calling a bit of a reversal when you're on these longer time frames like this. I mean, some of these moves were absolutely massive. Even this little one down here, let's say from candle close, I mean, that was about a 40% pump. Down here, an absolutely massive one, 300% pump. Up here, you can see, what did we get there? About 100% pump. Yeah, just another beautiful signal there. Even this one, if you want to say that this signal kind of failed here, I mean, we still did get a 30% pump, so that's still a nice indication that we're going to go higher. This one here was a little smaller, but yeah, beautiful. I like those two on the longer time frames. I don't know if they show up on all time frames. It might actually only be after the 15-minute, I think I recall being a thing, but I mean, they would be all over the place on shorter time frames, I'm sure. So I like to see them on the longer time frames like this, though. Just really going to start zooming in here, going to more relevant time frames here. Sorry, trying not to hack up a lung right into the microphone here and cause you guys ear damage here. Here, I'm just actually going to remove my drawings here. So this is all laid out from the MDX ALGO 3 indicator. Really love how that's actually one of the recent updates too, is this supply and demand. I kind of look at it like support and resistance just because, quite honestly, it lines up with my analysis and how I do it that way so well that I've actually changed the color to green and red. That's kind of how I look at it. And you can see right now that that's another thing on the daily chart here. We are into this heavy resistance or heavy supply zone, basically. There's a lot of supply up here being sold off. So, yeah. That's just another warning signal for us that, you know, there might be a little bit bigger of a pullback coming in the next few days, but I just don't want to bet against the bulls. I'm not interested in shorting, even if I'm not going to be in a long position. That's just my personal way of looking at things. But yeah, definitely some resistance up ahead, you guys. I am So right now, I also have the trend confluence. So that is this squiggly line. I was pointing it out before on the shorter time frames. On the daily here, I believe the trend confluence is the 3-day. It's just on auto settings, so it's whatever they decided to go with that they felt was a good, I guess, just a good math equation to make the indicator work well. But yeah, that is on auto settings. And I do also have filter. When you hit this filter button, it gets rid of a lot of the noise. You're only going to see basically the signals that agree with the trend confluence. So here you can see, I mean, this entire bull market back here, you can see that we were just getting long signals. There was no short signals coming in. Yes, it was giving you take profits, which is absolutely beautiful. But anytime we're kind of getting down to that trend confluence, getting anywhere close, you can see that the trend, the bulls were ready to step back in, and you're getting these strong signals. So you can see how this thing can be a really powerful indicator when you're looking at these longer time frames. I mean, man, this thing really just nails the trend for you. So very cool to see what this indicator is capable of. Again, you guys, like I haven't even mapped out any of this resistance, but it's totally just pointing out every level that I would basically be looking for rejection. It's doing it automatically. And what I really like about this, like, yeah, it doesn't take very long to go and map some boxes out at your resistance levels. But when you go into the degenerate time frames, if you're like me and you love scalping a good 5-minute, it really helps, for one, with this trend confluence, just getting that confirmation of a longer time frame. So it's more so like trading the 1 hour chart the way I'm looking at it. Just so you're able to pinpoint your entry a little better because you're just getting in on a smaller time frame. But I'm still interested in playing the hourly here, so that's where this really comes in handy here. But on top of that, you guys, like I said, on these shorter time frames, the fact that, you know, if I'm doing something while I'm day trading, it's hard to keep up to the charts sometimes because it can get so volatile, and you don't always want to just go back to the screen and modify. Every few minutes you're changing your resistance and support. So this can just do it for you. And I mean, obviously you should do your own analysis as well. Make sure it fits your trade style. Do back testing, find out what catches your eye. Because at the end of the day, these are still just indicators. You still want to do your own analysis. But like I said, it just matches up with the way I analyze things so closely that the way I like to trade scalps and stuff like that, I feel like I have barely been mapping out my own charts, to be honest. I have basically just been letting this do its thing. It's just wild. So very cool that it does that, especially if you're getting into real short time frames. I mean, I don't even like trading the 1 minute, but it just, as you go, I mean, as we were climbing here, it was showing more demand zones, right? Every time we were coming down, it was like, oh, this is a demand zone. We start to pump, and same thing, just as we go, we hit those levels and it maps them out as potential support for me. So I don't have to go and readjust things all the time. So I just love that. Gonna just basically hang out on the 5-minute here. Let me know, do any of you guys have any questions about the indicators, about the features, about my settings, want to talk about your settings, anything like that? Obviously with these signals too, something else that was one of the more recent updates, I suppose, would be this trade setup. This will actually give you the exact entry and take profits that it's looking at, basically. So I mean, basically the way this works is it's giving you a 1 to 3 risk rewards. So if you took your entry here, stop loss down here, if you hit the last target, you're obviously getting 3 times the amount that you would have lost. Very cool that it can do that. I don't mind having this up sometimes. I personally like to grab my own entries. Like to choose my own entries rather, but it's a very good reminder for me to take profits, because one of the hardest things to do as a trader, you guys, is take profits when you're in a winning position. It's you just get greedy. You want to add to the position rather than take profits. So it's a good visual reminder that, hey, you know what? You're up. You should probably be thinking about locking in some profits on this move. And especially when you can get a move like this. I mean, you're looking at a 3-to-1 risk reward when you enter at the entry price, but quite often you're going to get a pullback pretty much halfway. Sometimes you'll even pull back. It's just such a perfectly placed stop loss sometimes. Not always, mind you. Obviously, nothing is guaranteed. But quite often you can get those pullbacks kind of like halfway through or 3/4 of the way towards the stop loss. Well, and then your risk reward just goes through the roof. Then right now you're looking at more of a 6-to-1 with a setup like this. So that's another way you can use it, is just, the loss would be so small in this case if you were looking to do that. But if you catch that big win there, I mean, that's a beautiful risk reward ratio right there. So that's another way that I like to kind of look at this is, when I start getting close to that stop loss, it can be a very nice entry at times. But yeah, does anyone else have any questions or anything about this? If not, I'll probably get into some random shit coins and stuff like that.
Oh no, I had a question. Do you look much at that the money flow on the oscillator 5?
No,
I thought that
quite
was,
honestly, I know you've talked about that with me quite often, and that's something that I always forget to pay attention to. That would be this middle band here, hey?
yeah, it was quite extraordinary, like how deep and thick it got at the top of the, this after the pump and the extended pump, and then this ranging at the top. Just how much was like on the way up, and then like about halfway through the pump, just how much that was like so thick. It was so thick to really see it. You would have to like turn up your well, no, I think it's a little bit high.
Even on the hourly chart here, this is probably kind of where you're talking about. Hey, we have a big thick green cloud there.
Well, even if you put it on the the hourly, but if you put it even on the 4-hour, you can see it a little bit better even. I mean, I haven't seen it that.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you like just threw up a money flow indicator, like an MFI indicator, I mean, it was just like so high, so thick.
Yeah.
So money trumps everything. So like when the that was the extended pump. For whatever reason, man, money was pumping in. But you don't look at that too much?
I don't, and I should. It just totally slips my mind, and whenever you mention it to me, I always think to myself, I should really start looking at that more, because yeah, I think there's absolutely some value there. Oh man, you could tell there was just a bunch of money flowing into the market, and this indicator was telling us that. Last time we saw a big cloud like that was basically back here, but even this one's much smaller.
No, to find one as big as that, you have to go all the way back to the initial bull run.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, hey, maybe that's a good sign. Hey, money's starting to come back.
It was certainly surprising me. I got caught with that. I mean, I thought it was turning, but it just pumped forever.
Yeah.
I don't. Money flow is, that's one of the, money, time, and price. Gotta look at money.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Thanks for bringing that up, because I need reminders like that, because sometimes I get so set in looking at certain things that I forget other things. And I mean, they're all valuable parts of this indicator. I should really pay attention to that.
Yeah, the sometimes those money flow crossovers, or sometimes it's the top or bottom of the peaks. Sometimes, or if you just threw up like a standard money flow indicator, you could really see. I mean, sometimes the money flow, not every time, but sometimes it's a really good predictor of turns in price. So I don't know. I was actually hoping for on the 4-hour. I was actually hoping for it to cross over, but it seemed to regain some life. So,
man, look how long this 4-hour chart was way overbought, hey? On the oscillator 5 down here, even the oscillator 4. I mean, we had so many bearish divergences, but the bulls just, the money just kept flowing. It didn't matter.
Yeah, the money was like, overcooked. The pots are boiling over, divergences. They're like, fuck it, money, 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 for whatever reason. But the last time the oscillator 4 looked like, your oscillator 4 on the chart again, you got to go all the way back to the initial pump.
Yeah.
Like 2.5 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. Were you, I can't remember, were you on the last live stream as well, or did you show up a little late maybe?
I did show up late.
Okay. When we started, I know we were trading, actually, I remember this happened right during the live stream because one thing that I was quite bullish on was the fact that we had this massive engulfing 4-hour candle, even though we were super, overbought, overextended already is what it looked like. But we got this reversal point, this potential market bottom, with a beautiful demand zone showing up there, and then getting this engulfing candle right over all these wicks and everything, and then a perfect retest here. That was awesome to see that happen while we were live, because when we were looking at the 5-minute and stuff, it obviously just started fucking going. But look at all the support that the 4-hour is showing, like all the demand at these levels. Like this indicator is just throwing up a ton of demand zones here. That's one reason why I was kind of bullish down here too. I was cautiously bullish, I'll give it that. But it's beautiful to see that. And I like that we're starting to see that again up at these levels on the 4-hour. You can see, even though we had this potential top, we did already have this reversal warning as well as a potential bottom flipped back over the EMA. And this is a perfect example of where this basically maps out support for me. Is basically the level I would be looking at would actually just be slightly lower. I'd be more looking at this low right here. But you turn that indicator on, that's basically the exact same freaking support level for the way that I like to analyze. Like I said, I barely even do my own analysis at this point. I basically confirm with my eyes, but it's all mapped out for me. This is just unreal, the last couple updates here. For anyone actually who is new to the recent updates, another thing would be these daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly highs and lows. Obviously, very important level, because when you go into those larger time frames, they're more important levels. And I think the yearly was just added in the most recent update. You should have version 1.2 if you're all up to date with your MDX Algo indicators. I'm not sure if anything else changed or it was just the yearly got added. I'm not sure. Has anyone else noticed any differences? VT in here, maybe you can answer that if you're around. That's what I noticed about this indicator update anyways. And very cool, because the yearly level is obviously a very important level. But yeah, that's just cool. Like I said, my favorite part about these indicators isn't even the long and short signals or the trade setups that it shows. It's totally just how easily you can look at bigger time frames without having to flip-flop through a bunch of charts. You can have it all on the 5-minute if you want, which is a degenerate like myself. I don't have to flip-flop between charts a million times. I love it.
Yeah, if you just click over to the 12-hour too, you're bullish. I'm super bearish. If you just click over to the 12-minute chart real quick.
12-hour or 12-minute?
12. I'm sorry, 12-hour. 12-hour.
12-hour. Yeah, see, we're right at that resistance box. I got to give you that. We're definitely trading at resistance, so I don't want to be too bullish. But
and then up there on the Algo 4, it has never been that high on the 12-hour ever.
Oh.
It's up at like 93 or something on my chart. It's
94, 95, somewhere in there. Yeah, that's wild. And same with the oscillator 5. It's obviously way overbought.
It has never, even during the big giant, if you go all the way back on the 12-hour and just drag 3 years to the left, it just never has gotten that high before. It's our double rainbow.
Yeah, I love that analogy, or that meme that you posted. That was one of my favorite things like 10 years ago.
I have no idea what it means. It's so freaking high. It's so overcooked.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like it's so overcooked and still climbing, is that like look what happened in the bull market, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even if we look at the RSI, for example, it doesn't like to stay oversold, but it stays overbought during bull markets, right? Like, look at this in this bull market back in 16, 17. I mean, the RSI was just way overextended for such a long time. Look at all those long signals. That's just hilarious. And this is on the weekly. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to have to see, because I agree with you. Things do look overcooked. Things look like they're way overextended. But that's how they looked when we really started that massive pump last week.
It's and then also on the Algo 5, you could see that, you hit like peak money flow too.
Yeah.
On the 12-hour. And it's definitely curled over. So, I mean, less people are bringing new money in for higher prices.
Yeah, for now.
And if you scoot it down, it has a little red reversal dot there. I wish it was a big red indicator flag reversal. But,
yeah, even has these red boxes. Boxes here.
That's why I'm going to be a little contrary, and I'm just hoping. Well, I'm hoping because I got a short on. So
yeah, you're hoping for this kind of a situation.
I'm hoping exactly for that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and even on a longer time frame like this, the 12-hour, the trend confluence is way down at 17.5. I mean, wouldn't be too uncommon to come down and test some trend confluences when you start really looking at charts. I mean, it might take a while to play out, and it could still be bullish as hell, but that doesn't mean it can't retest down to these levels, right?
Yeah, I'm almost thinking that it just might range here forever. And then, as it ranges, it's just kind of, instead of like letting the steam out of the pressure cooker, it just kind of slowly lets the steam out, and all our indicators kind of level out, and then for another push. So I don't know. I'm hoping this doesn't just range for like the next 3 weeks.
Yeah,
just like in this tight top band. That would
just end up doing this again. Hey, just
something like that. Something like that would be because the one you circled before, that was like, ugh, come on. From a few weeks ago, that was just so. It was like a month and a half of just like, come on.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh, I know. We're all just, if you could just poke Bitcoin with a stick. I think I saw someone post a meme in the Discord there of someone poking Bitcoin with a stick, and then it, come on, do something, and it just explodes right through his face.
Penguin butthole patterns, and then dumps or pumps.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then, how do you catch? It was hard to catch those, they weren't super obvious sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah. No, that is definitely true. When the majority of the volatility happens in 1 or 2 days, and the whole time that's happening, you have PTSD from this sideways trading action that you never think it's going to go like this, especially with the bearish divergences and shit, right?
Oh, that's so yeah. You're like kind of you're in your foxhole because you've been going sideways for weeks. And then all of a sudden you get like whatever that move was, 10%, 12%, 20, whatever the freak that move was.
Let's just say even starting from here, like
30% move. Yeah, exactly. You're like ranging like a few percent for weeks and weeks, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah, like what were the size of some of these candles? Yeah, like 12 hours, not even 1 full percent. And then all of a sudden we get 30% in a couple days. I mean, it's pretty easy for that PTSD to kick in and be like, no, it can't go up forever, right? And obviously it can't go up forever, but it can go up a lot longer than you're willing to accept, right? I mean, as long as this money was still flowing in, that's all that matters. But yeah, there's definitely warnings of a potential cool down though. And even if we break this level, I would be very bullish if we flipped this box and kind of started trading, flipping this resistance into support, trading on top of it. I was really hoping this pump was going to take us just above this level. And if we would have consolidated here, I would have been very, very bullish because we would have been on top of this level. The fact that we're trading at it with all these warning signs, I really wouldn't doubt it if we dump a little bit.
Oh yeah, you are spot on with that. If it was just like 4 or 5, if we were ranging in a range that was just a little bit higher, like 400 or 500 higher,
Yeah.
and we were above that mess, and that the red supply zone kind of spoofed away,
Yeah.
then oh geez, game over.
Yeah. The one good thing I will say is, let's say we do break up now. If we start consolidating on top of this, we have a good base. We actually have some structure. So, that's kind of the shitty thing about getting these massive pumps like this, and same with these massive dumps. If you miss the move, I mean, it's just I guess it's just kind of hard to catch that move for one, and then after that, you don't have any structure. So it's hard to place a trade again because, I mean, chances are you're going to just go right back down, right? Because, I mean, you just have this massive gap. You don't have any structure in there that can support the market. So, like, I would be a much bigger fan if we just kind of gave it one of these and then, just consolidating on top of old levels of resistance. That would be ideal to me if we could start actually staircasing rather than just moonshotting right to 40K or whatever. Like, that would almost be painful because you would just be like, oh no, like, what's coming next?
I mean, if you look at it from 20,000 feet and you don't look at the indicators, I mean that does look really bear flaggy. If you don't look at anything other than candles, or starting to anyway.
Yeah, I mean, my one thing about this is, like, with all the bearishness, there's so much bearishness as far as fundamentals go and stuff like that. We dropped this very important level. We even flipped this support into resistance. I was even talking about a more specific trend line that was respected even better. Obviously, we have our touch points, our 3 touch points. Bang, perfect rejection. Bang, perfect rejection. And the fact that we actually got back above that and we stopped respecting that flip, that has me cautiously bullish. I'm just wondering if we had the whole FTX debacle here. I mean, momentum should have been very, very bearish. Why didn't we dump more? Like, why was this the extent of it? There wasn't even a continuation pattern. Like, the market really, that's where I know I was saying in the Discord earlier, like, really, and I know I pointed out in videos too, but really pay attention to when news stops affecting the market. Like, if you're super bullish, or if fundamentals are super bullish and headlines are super bullish and the price isn't moving up, why isn't it moving up? There's clearly no more buyers, just like here where, super bearish, 10K, 14K, we have to hit those levels. But, and then this FTX debacle, the dominoes are falling, all that kind of stuff. And then there was no follow through from the bears. There's just nobody left to sell. And I think a big part of that is, I know I was talking about the FTX debacle and I don't want to make light of the situation. It really sucks that a lot of people got seriously fucked over by that. But I think fundamentally it was good for the Bitcoin price because that just soaks up a whole bunch of the supply. Everyone took all their Bitcoin off exchanges, all their shitcoin off exchanges. Everyone put everything into cold storage. Nobody's selling at that point, and I really do think this was the start of a bit of a supply shock. So we're gonna have to see if it carries on. What did we have for a pattern here? We had like I guess it depends how you want to draw it. We had a few different trend line breaks. something like that was actually a. I know I always talk about my trend lines, how I like to have 3 exact touch points. Sorry, totally changing the subject here. I don't know what made me flip there, but 3 touch points. We had that 1 touch point, second perfect touch point, and then even this, I'm gonna, yeah, just a perfect 3rd rejection from that line. If I only get 2 rejections from a trend line and then we break out, I quite often think that there's a good chance it's a fake out. Whereas the fact that we had these 3 perfect touch points like that, oh god, let me just lock that so I don't fat finger here. Look how beautiful that was. As soon as we broke that, I mean, that should have been another. Basically, I never did notice that trend line, actually. Usually I'm good at noticing those. That's one thing is with the indicators, I do still like to make my diagonal trend lines because I love finding diagonal trend lines with 3 exact touch points and then a breakout retest. So the only thing that I am thinking right now is, like you said, we're definitely at resistance. I mean, we could, there's no shocker there if we do end up dumping to the downside here. And if that happens, we might be actually breaking these lows to go and retest this trend line here. That really wouldn't be all too crazy, and that would, I mean, obviously these are all theoretical lines, so they don't have to play out at that exact time frame, but that's where we're starting to hit those $14,000 levels. So if we do, I know in the news we have this this was something that was super bearish for a lot of people. This is where everyone was talking about that 10K price target with Bitcoin, is if Genesis goes under, and it is looking more and more realistic. But again, that brings me to my next point. Once again, why isn't the market reacting very violently to that news? We're at resistance. That should be a devastating blow to the market, and we're really not reacting all that bad. So again, this is one of those times where bearish news isn't really pushing the price. If that does end up catching up, though, again, like I said, at resistance, some of those warning signals from the indicator, yeah, you know, maybe we absolutely end up getting that harsh rejection, retest this trend line on the way down, even somewhere around 14, even lower, whatever, but retest this red line, basically. That would be an interesting scenario to play out.
Did that article mention how much Genesis is looking to restructure? Or because I was trying to find that today and to see if Genesis was smaller or bigger than FTX, and I couldn't really find it. I know Genesis has been around forever.
I actually haven't even read this article, for one. I just saw that it was posted, and I basically came straight home after that. I was driving, so I never actually got to read it or anything. I think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong here, I hope I'm not spreading false information, but I thought the deal with Genesis is they're connected to Grayscale somehow. And I think that's the big fear around it, because Grayscale owns, what, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin or something like that? Basically another Michael Saylor type of event if he were to capitulate, basically. I think it's kind of along those lines, like if Grayscale ended up needing to liquidate all their assets, like that's a ton of Bitcoin being sold on the market. But again, I could be wrong on that. You guys know I am not a fundamental guy. I'm a chart guy 100%. Just something interesting there. And this is more, again, I'm looking at this as more of a, why isn't the market reacting super aggressively to this news? So maybe the news isn't really affecting the price all that much anymore. But it's going to be interesting to play out.
Hey, what did you think about the DOJ Avengers taking out Hydra?
I honestly don't really know anything about that either. I saw you guys talking about it a little bit, but I was kind of busy, and I totally didn't catch up on my chats yesterday. So I saw a little bit about it, but I don't know too much about it, to be honest.
I mean, they teased a big news event, like they were going to take down, some kind of takedown of some kind of cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah, where everyone was thinking they were going after Binance, and they went after some shit exchange in Russia that had nothing, basically.
Twitter, everybody's thinking it's Binance. and then it turns out to be this. I don't even Belzado. Some hunk. It's Hong Kong, so it's technically Chinese, but I don't know. I was seeing, they were saying it was hundreds of millions of dollars, but I was seeing people posting, the wallet activity where it was like, you know, at the time of the announcement, there was only like $11,000 on that exchange.
So just a waste of everyone's time and money.
Yeah, and then like the day before, somebody withdrew $650,000, and they're like, well, maybe that's seized somehow. But and somebody did a back check at most on that exchange was $6 million.
Oh wow!
I thought it was kind of weird because they had this giant news conference that they were taking down this exchange because they're whatever bad actors, spam. They
like they made it sound more devastating than FTX, and it was just a no name.
They could take down Femex for the same reason. They don't do KYC. There's a number of exchanges that we all use that don't really follow KYC.
Exactly right.
So that so hopefully that doesn't catch on. Taking down exchanges that I don't think they could take out Femex. That's in Singapore. They ain't gonna fucking do that. Yeah, that was kind of weird. It was like such a nothing burger.
I know. Hey,
it was kind of funny, actually, to me anyway. I don't know, but funny to me.
I thought it was pretty funny too. How about XTP here? TAP. Everyone's all gung ho about this one. Let's take a look. I know here 4-hour chart here. Just pointed out a little bit of a couple of trend lines of my own here. By all means, by the way, guys. Again, if anyone has any questions, step in at any time, either in the chat box or on the mic, whatever. Feel free to ask me anything. I'll try and answer it. But yeah, I'm just gonna dive into some random shit coins here if no one has any questions. And I mean, feel free to talk about whatever as well. Like, we can keep discussing that. I'm just bringing up random charts, just explaining what I'm doing here. Just because I saw people talking about TAP earlier. I did have this support line mapped out. We went slightly below this, but obviously just retested this old resistance as perfect support there. So that's cool, but it also lined up pretty nicely with this upward sloping support level. One thing worrying me about this right now is we did have this little bit of a parabolic run here, and we got this warning wick. I mean, if anything, that was, I guess, a bit of a fake out, so it was nice. But then we started getting these candle body closes below this red line, and now it looks like we're kind of respecting it as resistance. Even if we trade it up a little bit higher, this would be a perfect recipe for a double top lining up with support resist flip. So something I want to put on everyone's radar, because I know how easy it is to want to FOMO when you're up. Well, like myself, I think I got in down here. I thought I was late to the party, so full disclosure, I put in a much smaller position than I was hoping to on tap. I did get in at these levels, which is great. I got a 10x out of it. But I only put in about a quarter or a fifth of my position, I think it was, because I thought I was late to the party and I thought I could get a nice pullback, and I never did. So whatever. I did take some profits. I took out twice the amount that I put in, and I still have way more than that in value because it's pumped so much. So beautiful to see that as far as shit coins go. Does anyone know, did this coin, I know there was talk of TAP, TAP Global was going to be the first addition to, was it the London Stock Exchange? Has that actually gone through? Does anybody know? I don't know if anyone in this chat has been following TAP at all or not. I know I've seen it on many articles that it is going to be a thing. I just don't know if it is yet. But so, I mean, this is an actual company, an actual banking app. So, I mean, it's cool to see that the price is pumping and there's actually a product behind it. So, I think it's still a fairly low market cap. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's still like, I don't know, 10 or 15 million or something, which I think down here it was only at like 500,000 or something like that. So some people made a killing off that. Congratulations to anyone who got in down here, by the way. That's absolutely nuts. This thing just traded between 1 and 2 Satoshis. I think it was for like half a year. So the thing about that is, yeah, it basically, well, it exactly flatlined. I guess this is the US dollar value here, but in the versus Bitcoin, it just bounced from 1 to 2 Satoshis for half a year. So everyone could just double their money quite easily as long as they would wait. The orders would obviously take forever to fill, but you could just buy at 1 Satoshi, sell at 2, buy at 1, sell at 2. So people were doing that for a very long time until someone came along and broke that sell wall, and then off to the races. So very cool to see it just exploding like that. See, on the oscillator 4 we have a hidden bullish divergence, but that might have been what played out already there. Does anyone else have any other altcoins you want me to look at either? I'm probably going to wrap up the stream fairly soon. I'll probably hang out and still chat with people or whatever, but it's just good to... I try and keep the recorded part, the majority of the analysis and indicator talk, to the first hour, because after that it takes so long for the videos to upload, so I try and keep them around that level, that time frame there. So
yeah, you're crushing the leaderboard again. I'm gonna have to say rigged.
Yeah. So this is the only reason I got so much is because I put XTP in here. I see Temps did as well, but I must have put mine in earlier because it does, like when you can select your leaderboard here, when you can add coins to it, it actually adds the price at the time that you add it. So I think I just added it before he did here, probably a few hours before, and that was right when it kind of started pumping once again. So I think that's why, like right out of the gate, I was just up like 20% and no one else has really had anything yet. I was like, what the hell? Monthly, I'm in first too.
I see Jeff is in 4th place with USDT.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be, well, yeah, I guess it's just been a bit of a red week, right? So yeah, I'm gonna fully admit this is total luck on my part. It's not like I'm good because this happened.
Well, what this is, I've never done the leaderboard before. I'm gonna keep
I just started doing it. I don't know, it's kind of fun. Speaking of that, anyone who isn't live with us right now, here, let me just go to my YouTube channel here. That's another thing that you get if you end up signing up to these indicators. If you do like these indicators, I always have a referral link in my description down below. I get a bit of a referral bonus. You get a 15% discount. So anybody tuning in not live on my YouTube channel, if that's something that interests you, that's just another thing that comes with it. We have these live streams. There's a very supportive, well-educated group of traders in a private Discord here. It's the MDX Cryptos private Discord. So on top of the indicators, you actually, I find a ton of value in hanging out with you guys in those chats. You guys teach me a ton of stuff too. So there's more value to being a member than just these indicators, which, don't get me wrong, I love these indicators, but there's a very good community to be a part of. We have these leaderboards. I'm going to refer to this as a fantasy portfolio league, basically like fantasy football. You just throw up the altcoins you're picking for the week or the month or whatever. Doesn't even cost you anything, as long, like, if you're already a member. These are free to do, but you actually win actual cash prizes. So that's another thing that basically the indicator can pay for itself off without even trading if you do it right. So pretty cool there. So yeah, it's just all for fun. It's fun to have these little games with you guys. So very cool. And if anybody's live here and not subscribed to my channel yet, I do have my own YouTube channel. It's StuTube Trading, all one word. Actually, so is my Twitter. But I always post these live sessions here afterwards. And as well, I do my own analysis, my own videos quite often. Those are usually shorter, like 10, 15-minute videos, just quicker market updates. These live sessions are closer to an hour to... Hell, we've done some of these where we have been on here. I haven't posted the full things, but we have had 4-hour conversations on these. So that's another thing. You get to come hang out with me. Obviously, super awesome, right? And everyone involved. It's just always a good time. So if you do, there's no pressure to sign up to these indicators, but if you do, make sure you get involved with the Discord as well, because I think that's honestly just as much value as the indicators. With that, guys, I am actually going to wrap up the stream, I think, here. Yeah, like I said, for those of you seeing this from my YouTube channel a bit later, if you find these MDX indicators interesting, I believe it's like $70 a month or so. And like I said, you get 15% discount with a referral link. I'll have mine in the description as well as in a comment there. Other than that, guys, obviously none of this has been financial advice. Always do your own research to form your own opinions. But if you appreciated this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe. And with that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.